Sawyer water filters are some of the most popular filters for anyone heading out into the backcountry. Sawyer says their squeeze can filter up to 500,000 gallons of water. That's a pretty bold claim. Is it true? They say yes, but why don't other brands make this claim? Also, they give water filters to people all around the world, but why would they do that if it can't filter viruses? Or can it? I was able to get the president of Sawyer to come on my channel to give me answers to those questions and a whole lot more. I just have so many questions for you, but I don't know, maybe you could just tell me a little bit about, I guess, you and Sawyer, kind of what you guys are all about for people that don't know.
Well, we're an outdoor company. We do insect repellents and sunscreens and water filtration. We just had this crazy idea and we started. It was tough. I always say we lost money 23 of the first 25 years we did business, but we were able to hang in there. We had 2 good years during the Gulf War. First time with sunscreen, second time with the repellents. That we're the repellent that the military uses, and it's not a formula that's commercially. I mean, it's commercially available, but it's not a big hit in the marketplace. But it's a time release formula that soldiers can wear 300 days a year without any issues. And we treat their uniforms. We back in the day, a company we bought invented permethrin clothing, and that every uniform now has that. We don't do it for them. We do the replenishing. So mostly National Guards will buy the product and put it back on the uniform to keep using them over and over. But every soldier in the U.S. and Canadian Army treats their uniforms with this permethrin. Then we moved to Florida here in 1988, and a couple of rocky years, basically started over again. I was the only employee. I did everything from making the product to shipping the product, to answering the phones and everything. And then we started to take off. And I've been very fortunate. One axiom of business I learned, I went to Northwestern Business School for my MBA, is never do Me Too products. Always push the ball, add new technology. I have some very good people, and a lot of people bring us their ideas. And so we're a marketing company, but we have high integrity, which I think you've been able to see some of that. And that's Sawyer.
Why water filters? What was it? What was it? Did you just wake up one day and go, I don't know if I trust the water I'm drinking? How did that, what happened?
So one day, this is silly old me, I said, God, half the world dies of mosquito bites and bad water. Why don't we just go fix that? Of course, we meaning him, not me, but so that's been the quest. If half the world dies of mosquitoes or water, what can we do to solve it? So we've been on a quest for water for quite a while. Started back looking to solve the water thing, maybe 2002. We looked at everything, flocculants and, all the different kind of membranes. And then we got to the hollow fibers, and it was like, whoa, this is the way to go. And so our first shot at the things was 2005. It's when we brought out the first hollow fiber membrane. We got a hold of a technology which to this day nobody's duplicated, and I have an exclusive on it with the vendor. I don't think, all the hollow fiber membranes on the market. There's equally or 3 times as many in the charity world, and none of them can do what we do. They just don't have the technology. I don't think they understand it. My engineer, John Smith, really understood hollow fiber membranes, and we put some secret sauce in ours that nobody's duplicated, and I have gotten exclusive rights to it with the vendor. So that's how we got where we are and why we can do what we do that nobody else can do it. And then there's no U-Hauls in heaven, so can't take it with you.
I say that all the time. This
year we did of course, the hurricane in Acapulco. We were big down there. We did the floods in Morocco, the earthquake in Syria, Turkey, of course, a lot in Ukraine. All the soldiers have them. That's what we do. There weren't any big hurricanes worldwide, but wherever there is one, we're there on either day 1 or day 2. Interesting story in Puerto Rico. If you remember, they had that double hurricane. Our guys went in there with our charities, went in there with duffel bags full of filters, and they, hunkered down, got through the hurricane, and were up and running the very next day, passing on. And we can do, back in that day, one duffel bag could do 20, 30,000 people. Now it can do 200,000 people with the new filters, new delivery systems. And so you've seen the pictures of all the water sitting on the tarmacs that, US finally sent down there.
Yeah.
Too late. We were already there. Red Cross had them in there. We put 75,000 filters in Puerto Rico, and nobody needed bottled water. Yeah, anytime there's a hurricane, earthquake, cyclone, typhoon, you name it, we're there. Like boom, right away.
What comes first for you in your mind? Is it, I mean, there's obviously a business side of this, right? You got to have a business. There's benevolency, right? There's caring about other people. There's obviously a ministry side to it. How do you unpack that for me? I'm really curious as to how that works in your world, because I hear you talking like, there's competitors out there, right? There's people that, you've got the secret sauce, it's the business side, but then, there's the benevolent side, there's the ministry side. I just, unpack how that all works. Why are you doing this? Like, what is it? When you wake up in the morning, what's the spark?
We do take care of the business side. We're in pretty good shape on the business side with our filters and our repellents and our permethrin. We have a nice profitable business. But what are you gonna do with the money? Might as well do something good, right? With the filters, we had to prove that we could do what we could do. And I really do got to walk you through the technology, why people had a hard time believing what they call the miracle filter. And I'll show you why we can do it and nobody else can do what we do. So I had to prove it. So, Daryl's told you about some of the projects, Liberia,
Yep.
that we collect the data and we prove, and it's been published in medical journals. We prove that within 2 weeks, 95% of sickness is just gone. Within 2 weeks. Within a year, it's 98 because the rest of the people figure it out. We're one of the greenest products on the planet. Each filter can save 200 trees a year or equivalent fossil fuels because you don't need to boil.
Oh, wow.
And, we have that environmental side that I don't think people understand how environmentally good we are in terms of eliminating a lot of energy put into boiling water. Obviously, we're saving a lot of lives. I mean, you go to bed every night and you're saving 100,000 babies a year. A lot of cool stuff. We have a lot of stories. Some of them, but boy, we have a lot of them. I got a book coming out this summer called Sawyer Think, and it's got all my business principles in it, but it's also got all the water stories in it.
I was a youth pastor, student ministries pastor for 9 years, and so I obviously have a heart for ministry. I got a heart for people, and I often wondered why I started this channel. Like, why was I given this platform? Like, what's the whole point of this and what I'm doing? And every time I think I figured it out, I feel like, God's like, sorry, man, that ain't it. Or that's part of it, but we're just getting bigger. And I feel like this connection, what we were able to do, seeing Kabira, working with Chris at the Bucket Ministry, that's just a part of the process, right? It's we would have never met ever in a million years, but I feel like, there's this there's a reason that we're all connecting, and it's for the 100,000 babies that you mentioned, right? It's for the people to not have to burn wood to boil their water anymore. But ultimately, it's to see people's lives change, right? And so I just find the whole thing just so interesting. I'm just a guy in my basement right now. Like, literally, that's what I do. I turn on a camera and I record it, and somehow things are getting done. Does that make sense?
If you have a big God, you can do big things. If not, you'll do little things. But you're here. You're just a drop in the bucket. Your life comes and goes. What is it? It's an honor, to be honest with you. Barb and I, that's my wife. We pinch ourselves. We saw, I'm just a country boy, and here we are doing this stuff. I mean, how did that all happen? Can I bore you with some tech? Because I know you're.
Yeah, bore me to death. Go for it. I'm sure a lot of the tech nerds out there would love to have you tell us. I got a couple questions for you, and you might already be about to answer them. I don't know. We'll see.
I don't know if you can see this. If not, I'll describe it to you. Can you see these hollow fiber membranes? We're on the left side as you look at there. All the other ones are on the right, and we filmed them all, and we just picked one. I mean, they're all kind of the same. So think of it like a PVC pipe. You can have two types of pipe. You can have a pipe with a thin wall, but a big diameter internally. Or you can have the Sawyer wall, which is a thick wall and a small inner diameter. Which one's tougher? Thick wall, small
Yeah.
diameter. Well, that's the difference. Now, we just did one test, and the ones that are thick wall blew apart. Actually, they collapse. They don't blow open. They collapse at 30 psi. We can get to 80 psi before there's any issues, which means you can fully backflush us, but you can't backflush the others, which is why our filters can last 15 years and they can't. And that's really important when you go overseas, that you give them a filter that's going to last. Secondly, we also make sure that we're 0.1 micron absolute. Now, everybody says 0.1 micron because they have to match us, but they don't use the word absolute. When you say absolute, we actually test and can guarantee there's no holes bigger than 0.1. And that's critical because there's nothing smaller than 0.1 that can make you sick. So we can go into a village and say, nobody here can get sick from our filters. If you get sick, it's not from anything that comes through that water, through the filter, cannot make you sick. There's nothing left in there that can make you sick. And with our new tap filter, you can go anywhere in the world, put that on somebody's tap, and they're instantly drinking U.S. tap water, minus the chlorine. Wow. That new tap filter, we're down now where for 10 cents, we can give a person water for 10 years. 10 cents.
What? What? Holy cow. I get a lot of comments. I got a lot of comments on those videos that we made in Egypt and in Kibera, where in Nairobi, where people were saying, well, why are you giving them filters? It doesn't filter viruses. And Daryl explained it to me. It's a little over my head, you know, but it wasn't something I remembered. But I do remember a really good explanation for that. And I think you were about to touch on it as a separate conversation, but I'd love you to talk about it.
Okay. Well, viruses are small. We do have a filter that will take viruses out, but that's 0.02 microns. So viruses are down to 0.0405 microns. So we're at 0.1. Now your hair is 17 microns. So our biggest hole is 170th diameter of your hair. You would have to go down further, another 4 times to get to 0.04. So viruses could go through the filter. The problem is they're just not there. The only one you have to consider really is hepatitis. Now, for hepatitis to be in the water, there has to be human sewage, and not just any human sewage. It has to be human sewage from a person who had hepatitis in their sewage. And you're not going to drink that water. When are you going to stick your bottle or bag in brown, dirty water that's got sewage in it? You're just not there. But even if you did, viruses clung to a host. Now, the problem is that with the EPA, you can't test that because you have to test dead viruses. Live viruses, you got to go to Wuhan labs or Fort Detrick, where with all the garbs up, they can deal with live viruses. You can't do that. EPA will not accept that as a test. So you cannot prove that viruses will attach to a host because you're not allowed to test for it. But that's what they do. The virus will be to a host and the host will be taken out anyways. Can't prove it. We're not allowed to prove it. But anecdotally, let me tell you, we have what, 10 million, 20 million people using our filters overseas and nobody's getting sick?
Right.
It's got to tell you something.
So you're saying that a virus will attach to a host and the host is going to get clogged into the filter because the virus needs a host to get into you.
It needs a host to survive. That's the nature of the virus.
Okay, I got you. Otherwise, it's a dead virus. Yeah, I got you.
I think the technology in our company is vastly superior to anybody else. I mean, our guy understands viruses. I don't think any other company that you think of has a technologist in the water business like we do. So we're confident in that statement, but I can't prove it to you. But I can show you, 20 million people a year aren't getting sick from viruses. Can I show you what's next?
Oh, yeah.
This is our international filters. Can you see the QR code? All filters internationally from now, and we'll do it domestically later, but right now, international filters come with a QR code. They'll drop you right to our website. We have animations. We'll show you how to install it. We'll show you how to maintain it. We'll show you how to do wash principles, washing your hand. That's all available in whatever language you want. We have 18, 19 languages now. Brazil asked us for getting ready to do a massive project. Within 2 weeks, we had all the animations converted to Portuguese and the instructions. So it's very easy. We'll do dialects, we'll do anything. You just tell us what you want. The second thing you can do with this is it's now, remember when you saw Chris, he had barcodes on there?
Yeah. Yep.
This will replace the barcodes
Okay.
because every filter is unique. And now you can do all your data collection and all that stuff right off of this QR code will drop you into your database, and you just keep adding all your data collection, all right on the filter.
Where does the name Sawyer come from?
I started in 1984, and I wanted a biblical name. And all I could find, we started with the extractor, the snake bite bee sting kit. And so all I could find was the story of Paul on the island of Malta, where he gets bit by the viper, shakes it off and say, "You're God." And he says, "No, but I'll show you God." So I did it backwards. Saffeta, Saffeta. That's the closest I could come to giving a biblical name to the company. Went to the first trade show, 1984. Buy American, buy American, buy American. That did not sound like an American name. So I went back to the artist and we came up with Sawyer, like Tom Sawyer, out as good as you can get, all American boy. And we literally started with the logo, with him running through the woods with a backpack on. So that's where Sawyer came from. So it was DBA Saffeta, Saffeta DBA Sawyer until 91 or so when we moved to Florida.
I always want to bring this back to, and I think you do too. I think at the end of the day, you already said it. There's no U-Hauls behind your hearse. And at the end of the day, that's how I feel. That's how I feel about everything that I do. That's how I feel about this channel. That's how I feel about my relationships. That's how I feel about what we do with companies. I just feel like at the end of the day, we've all got a commission, right? And I think that commission, if we're not 100% focused on it, then we're 100% focused in the wrong direction. And I am that is where my heart is for my business and my channel. And I am so grateful that Travis sent me that email that day. I had no idea.
We never told our story. We've been doing this for a long time, all this overseas stuff, since we've been doing it since 05. And you didn't hear about it till the last couple of years because I didn't think I didn't want to go there, didn't want to brag about it and whatever. But then when I hear some of these other competitors saying, "Oh, we did this in this village and this orphanage," I'm sitting there going, "Seriously? You're doing 200 people and we're doing 2 million and you're going to brag about it and get all the PR for it?" So then Travis and those convinced us to let the story out.
I'm really glad you guys decided to share your story. I remember telling Travis, it was on the phone call, I think. He said you were hesitant to share the benevolent side of things. And I said, well, then let me share it. I mean, this has got to be told. Like, this is a story that people need to hear. People want to be a part of this thing, but I understand where you're coming from, that humility of just being like, look, it's not about me. And I don't think you've made it about you at all. Just like I don't think I've made it about me. I think this is 100% what God's doing.
Well, and also it's not because I'm some wizard. I really do have some of the best people in the industry. They're paid well, but they're also buying into what we're doing. So I have very loyal people. So I can't take credit for it. They're as much a part of it as I am.
Well, I for one am excited to be a part of whatever you guys are doing. Count me in 100%. And I think you got a Sawyer guy for life. Just based on what I saw.
Well, thank you, sir.
You got it. Thank you. Yep. All right. We'll talk soon. Thanks, Kurt.
Okay. Thanks.